Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Three Questions series where we hear from women all across the PCA about what God is doing in their little corner. And today we have with us one of my favorite people, Joy Beans. And yes, I said beans, like pinto beans. Here she is, Joy Beans. Good morning, Joy.
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm so glad you're here. Joy is joining us. As you can see, she is representing RUF Baltimore. Will you please tell us, are you married?
I am married. My husband Trip and I have been married. We've been married 25 years in November,
Aha.
which is crazy.
Yes.
So we have, and Trip is the campus minister with RUF at University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC. And I am on campus staff there, and we have three children. We practice. We were talking the other day, and Trip said, "Yeah, we have three kids. Two are married, and one just graduated high school." And I was like, "That feels really strange to say. Two of my kids are married, but they are.
But they are.
But they are." Our son Luke got married in the fall. Added Lindsay to our family. Our daughter Adeline got married 2 weeks ago. Added Stephen to our family, and our daughter Kaya um, just graduated high school 2 days ago, and she'll be headed off to school in the fall.
Joy, of course, as you can tell, does not look old enough to have these children, but she does. And she's going to answer our three questions. The first of which she started to tell us about your little corner of the kingdom is RUF. Tell us again where, because most people
Yeah,
don't know all the designated areas.
that's great. RUF, Reformed University Fellowship at University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
And you
Um,
are what kind of staff?
so I am campus staff there. I actually work part-time campus staff. Like I said, my husband is the campus minister there, and I came on staff 9 years ago. Um, RUF has this great thing where they found that women who happened to be married to campus ministers were also really called to love college students and spend time with them. And this afforded our family a way to minister together without me having to have another side hustle somewhere else.
Right. Because you were already doing it.
I was already doing it. One of the greatest gifts God's ever given our family is that I've always felt separately called, sometimes before Trip, to the ministries that that God is calling Trip to. He was in youth ministry for 17 years, and then at a church, I started heading up a college ministry there, and that's how we kind of got into RUF from there.
So you've been doing this a long time, and I would love to hear just if you could tell us one story, maybe
Mhm.
recently, maybe not, that of something God has done through this ministry that you have.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we've been on in June. Well, I guess June 1st has come and gone. This is our 12th year in RUF. Like I said, I think I've been on staff about 9 of them.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, but most of what I do is one-on-ones. It's really that is my great joy of
Mhm.
doing ministry with the college students. And so I meet with most of the most of the female students, most of the
Mhm.
young women on campus that are in our ministry. And I have a great story of a student. She actually just graduated, and I she came in as a transfer, and I started meeting with her. I guess we met 3 years for the time that she was at UMBC. She kind of came into RUF through the best possible way. Her friend was coming to RUF, was a believer, and she wasn't, but she was having kind of some conflict at home. And her friend, who I was already having one-on-ones with, said, "Hey, you wanna come meet with Joy?" And she said, "Sure, I guess." Like I think that's kind of, you know, it's kind of weird to if you grow up outside of a church,
Yeah,
adults don't pay a lot of attention to you, uh,
right.
and so we find that with a lot of college students, They're like, I don't know why I'm here having a cup of coffee with you, but okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So she and I started meeting. She was having a lot of conflict with her family. We just kind of started talking about it. I'm really clear, like where my perspective is. You don't have to love Jesus to meet with me or come to RUF at all. But that's where, he's always there when we're talking. So we just started kind of having conversations, and I I wanted to kind of introduce the idea of faith. She's very unfamiliar with the Bible when she first started. She had the sweetest question for me. She came and she said, "Listen," because she's a very performance oriented, um, you know, D1 athlete, and she said, "How much of the Bible do you need to have read before you can consider Christianity?" She's like, 85%?
Oh,
And I said, that is like, it was such a great question.
yeah.
And and so we talked about a thief on a cross. She was one of the students that when we opened up the Bible in small group, it was like, hey, we're on page 482. Super subtle. Everybody had the same Bibles.
Yeah.
And she just kept coming back. And
Mm-hmm.
in our one-on-one, she was like, I just kind of inquired. I was like, hey, what kind of made you enter the RUF world? Like actually come to small group, actually come to large group. And she said, I've been a lot of places and I've met a lot of people, but I immediately felt cared for in RUF.
Mm-hmm.
And so flash forward last year, I'm getting her ready to go home because she is thinking about faith. And she told me, I know when I go home, she was getting ready to go home for Christmas. She said, I know when I go home, and my parents find out I've been going to a Bible study, they're going to think I'm a fool. And
Yeah.
I need to practice what I'm going to say about it.
Mm.
And so we just kind of talked about it, and how to have her express that this has become important to her, though she did not claim faith. She just wanted to kind of hang out with this group of people who she knew loved Jesus, but that her parents would discount.
Yeah.
And so she comes home, she comes back. This fall, I kind of pitched at the beginning of their senior year. If I've been meeting with a student regularly, I kind of try to lay out their senior year with like what we're going to do in a one-on-one. What do they want to learn? It could be simple, it could be complex. It's been all over the map. Like, how do I open up a checking account to,
Yeah.
what is, what is the theology of something or other? And,
Yeah.
we just kind of work through it the whole year, make sure that they get the answers to questions they've been having before they leave campus. And so I just kind of pitched. I was like, hey, what are you thinking? What have you been thinking about faith now that you've been home for the summer and we're coming back? And she goes, I became a Christian last spring.
Catch up, Joy.
I know. And it was such a sweetness. And to be honest with you, that's how God seems to work in the ministry that we've been involved in. It's really subtle. We don't have like the
Yeah.
dramatic conversions. It's these simple conversations, and these kind of like, oh, God just kind of beautifully and sweetly enters them into the kingdom, and without much fanfare at all. And it's just a sweetness. It's just a change in what he's done in their hearts, and then we get to kind of discover along with them what he's been doing. She's going to grad school. Oh,
Yeah.
it's the most beautiful thing I get to do. I'm getting like, I love this student. I'm tearing up.
Yeah.
She's going to grad school, and she asked me, hey, can you help me find a church? And
Mm,
one of the beautiful things about RUF is that we have a network across the country, kind of
yes.
across the world,
Right.
and we're helping her get connected. So it's exciting.
It's what we hope for, right? It's totally what we hope for. So how can we, like, we, the PCA, your brothers and sisters, in what you're doing, how can we encourage and support you in your sort of like everyday life?
Wow. Man, just pray. Keep
Yeah.
praying. The universe, the university campus right now has all sorts of things happening, all sorts of um, clashes, and a lot of
Hmm.
beauty too. And we absolutely, I love that you use the word privilege. It's absolutely my privilege to be able to be sent in kind of the forward facing ministry of RUF.
Hmm.
But prayer is super important. I'm going to be really honest here. If there's a if there's a college that you love, if there's a collegiate ministry person that you love, please support them financially.
Hmm.
Please sign up for our newsletters. Um, the more the more we can be forward facing and spend time with students, and the less we have to kind of scramble around for funding, uh, the more we get to just go do what we love to do most.
Yeah.
There's a great beauty to fundraising. I never thought that I would say that when we first started. And anyone who fundraises is like, oh, are you sure? No. But there is a great beauty to the faith of fundraising. And
Mm.
I'm not complaining about that at all. Like I can tell you 1,000 stories of the way that the Lord has been so kind to Trip and I in our fundraising.
Mm.
But the less we have to think about that, so focus on that so
Yeah.
much, the more time we get to kind of just be with students and really walk alongside them. So if you love a campus, if you love a campus minister or campus staff, please support them. If you don't have one that you love, UMBC.
Now you do. Thank you, Joy, for giving us some time. I really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.